Hey all, my name is Paul Borosky and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan as well as Quality Business Consultant. And what I'd like to do today is to introduce y'all to my beginner's guide to financial analysis for Intel 2021. So the way the video is going to play out is first and foremost going to go ahead and give you all a little bit of background about me, who I am, what I do, and why I do it. And then after that, I'll introduce you all to my Intel Beginner's Guide and just show you some of the important sections in the guide. And then finally, once I'm done, I'll provide you all with a link to purchase the guide if you're interested. Also, that link is right here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and zip through this little PowerPoint presentation. So first, let's go ahead and, as promised, a little bit about me. Again, Paul Borosky, MBA, doctoral candidate. I publish probably about 15 to 25 I analyze 15 to 25 different public companies annually. Been doing that for the last 5 years. And then I'll write either a financial report on the company or create a beginner's guide or even do both for that specific company. So I do have a lot of experience in analyzing public company financial statements, financial ratios, and so on. So if you're interested in looking at some of my other company reports or company beginner's guides, just visit this link right here. And then I am also the author of the Beginner's Guide to Understanding Financial Statements and Financial Ratios. That can be found on Amazon.com. And then finally, I am an adjunct professor and subject matter expert in finance. So I do have some higher education teaching background under my belt to support some of my thoughts and ideas in my financial reports and beginner's guides. All right, enough about me. Let's talk about the star of the show, which is Intel 2021 Beginner's Guide. So my Intel 2021 Beginner's Guide to Financial Analysis is broken into 3 categories or sections, which is the income statement section, the balance sheet section, and then the financial ratio section. The first section is Intel's income statement. So what I'll do is I went out and did a little bit of research into Intel, found their 10Ks, and I went ahead and summarized their 10Ks for the last 5 years into my financial model, which produces the revenues, the costs, and the net income in a summarized version for the company for the last 5 years. What I then do is I will go ahead and identify important line items in the income statement, and then I'll go ahead and drill down on those important line items. For example, revenues. I'll go ahead and provide you all with a definition of revenues. I'll give you that definition in other words or in layman's terms. And then finally, I'll provide you all with some analysis tips as to what to look for when analyzing that line item. The second section in my beginner's guide is the balance sheet. And to lead off the balance sheet section, I'll go ahead and I've summarized Intel's balance sheet for the last 5 years. Again, provided y'all with a breakdown of their assets, liabilities, and equity positions. After the introduction to the balance sheet, I'll then go ahead and identify important line items in the balance sheet, and I'll provide you all with an explanation of what that line item means. I'll give it to you in layman's terms, and then also provide you all with some analysis tips to apply when analyzing the specific line item. The third section in my beginner's guide is Intel's financial ratios. So what I've done is I went ahead and categorized various ratios, popular ratios in finance, into 4 categories, which is the liquidity ratios, asset ratios, profitability ratios, and then debt ratios. And then for each one of those categories, I'll then provide y'all with some ratios that fall within those categories. For example, liquidity ratios. Popular liquidity ratios would include the current ratio, the cash ratio, quick ratio, and net working capital ratio. I'll also provide y'all with the formulas used to calculate those ratios, and then I'll give you all a summary of the findings for each one of the ratios for the last 5 years. I don't stop there. I then identify important ratios within each one of those categories, and then I'll go ahead and drill down even further, and I'll explain what that ratio means. I'll provide you all with the formula to the ratio. I'll give you the financial ratio in other words, which is just explain what the financial ratio means in layman's terms. And then I'll provide you all with some tips to use when analyzing that specific ratio. And then finally, I'll provide you all with the numbers that I used in order to calculate that specific ratio. For example, the current ratio, current assets divided by current liabilities. I'll show you the current assets for the last 5 years for Intel, their current liabilities for the last 5 years, and then the current ratio for the last 5 years. All right, hopefully this information was helpful. If you're interested in buying my Beginner's Guide to Financial Analysis Intel 2021, just visit my link right here. And as always, have a great day. Thank you.